original, no more art. And as I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then stormy weather's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done but the time it hit you, you're not surprised. Think you got your game planned out. Do a deed, get 'em 2 steps ahead, yeah. So step into my way, stand out. It's a trap, one more step, and you're dead. Why just a little second ago, clear blue skies, but now lightning struck your last result. It's not an accident that no one hears your cries as your last dream seems to desert. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done but the time it hit you, you're not surprised. I'm coming for you. My game's always so fast, so fine. You're spanning, but the net you didn't catch it in time. Better think about your game. Are you sure your next move's the right one for you? Are you sure you won't get outmaneuvered again, my friend? You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done but the time it hit you, you're not surprised. I'm coming for you. My game's always so fast, so fine. You're spanning, but the net you didn't catch it in time.
Woke up this morning with a gun to my head. Somebody help me, she wants me dead. Woke up this morning with the devil in my bed. In the air, everywhere, in my veins and in my head. She wants me dead, 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 dead. She wants me dead, 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 dead. She wants me dead, 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 dead. She wants me dead, 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 dead. She wants me dead, 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 dead. She wants me dead, 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 dead. She wants me dead, 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 dead. She wants me dead, 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 dead. She wants me dead, 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 dead. She wants me dead, 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 dead. She wants me dead, 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 dead. Well. Woke up this morning with a gun to my head. mother should have told me she'll need it. Without a warning, not a clue, without a sound. In your house, out of bounds, you can run, but you can't hide. She won't dance, she won't dance, she won't be dance, she won't be dance, she won't
I'm going in for murder. Oh, pay attention, Mr. Officer. Never gonna catch me, you're never gonna catch me. No, 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 no. You are gonna waste your time. You gonna catch me. Never gonna catch me. Never gonna catch me.
Never catch me.
Tomorrow, weekend on the night. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. I know it'll be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Weekend on the night. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Show me what you got. Just keep the record spinning. The music never stops. You wanna live forever and reach above the stars. Let's take it to the next level. Just like the spaceship up. Them bright big lights are shining on us. That beat so tight, it makes you wanna get up, get down like there's no tomorrow. Like there's no tomorrow. Like there's no tomorrow. Weekend on the night. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. I know it'll be alright. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Weekend on the night. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Yeah, on the rooftop, surrounded by the stars and the views high. Ain't nobody thinking about what you got. Everything's ours. Wanna dip, get a new spot. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry, don't worry. Night never ends. No hurry, no hurry. Short in the pics so the lines get blurry. In the nights in your palms, so we might get dirty. DJ, let the beat play. Make a heat wave when you replay this. Tonight we gon' party like it's DJ. Young and free, saying it's the one over CK shit. The moon is the light, the sky is the ceiling. Low is the bass and the high is the feeling. The world is a club rolling, cause we can. This one for the books. Don't worry about a thing. Weekend on the night. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. I know it'll be alright. Don't worry about a thing. 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 Don't worry about a thing.
Turn it up.
Somebody save your soul, cause you've been sinning in the city. I know too many troubles, all these lovers got you losing control. You like a drug to me, a luxury, my sugar and gold. I want the good life every good night, you're a hot one to hold. Cause you don't even know I can make your hands clap. Said I can make your hands clap. Somebody save your soul, cause you've been sinning in the city. I know too many troubles, all these lovers got you losing
Hey everyone, welcome to the match. I am JRT, and tonight we have Collateral facing off against Dogs of War. Collateral coming into this match at 9-2 and are currently on a 9-game win streak. That does include an overturned match, a 16-0 victory over Lean Cuisine. I'm not sure what happened there, aside from... I'm not sure what the result was before the overturning of the match, but Reload's account was banned due to account sharing, which is why it was overturned. And over on Dogs of War, they're 6-5 in the season. 3-game losing streak that they're trying to recover from, and made some roster changes, dropping Wen and also Braun. Actually, Wen went to Thunder Logic to coach them, and Braun was dropped from the roster. They added Cullen and Charms, and we'll see how that fares since Cullen and Charms have not played in ESEA Advanced since last season. Cullen played for... Charms played for Massed Esports last season. And Cullen, I actually don't have a record for. I don't think the team name was the same as it should have been. It changed to something completely insane, so I just don't have that on record. But anyway, let's get started with round number 1. Dogs of War looking to end that win streak, and Collateral want to continue it. A win here for Collateral clinches a playoff spot. Julian, also known as Hybrid, recently picked up for Dogs of War, anchoring down at the B site. And you have Dane over at Z Connector. Smoke gonna fly in towards me. Not sure if Collateral's gonna come in, but there's Hash down the ramp, does a bit of damage to Dane, and doesn't take much in return. Sergeant Hash going to get Julian to open things up here. 5v4. Hash comes around, goes in the flank, and gets Rascal over in Connector. Bomb gonna get planted here at the A site. And it's a 5v3. Churm's gonna come around the corner, gets a headshot on Dutchbag. 4v3 now. Still a chance here for Dogs of War to get the retake. It is the pistol round after all. Dane coming around from Z, looking for Hash, and gets it. 3v3, 2 unanswered frags there for Dogs of War. Jax firing away, trying to put another dent into Dogs of War. And I believe it was Delta 9 as well. Churms comes around, gets a 2K on Delta 9 and Hendy, leaving only Jax standing in the 2v1, and Cullen gets him. There we have it, 3v5 to a 2v0. Dogs of War come back to retake the A site and get the first round victory, 1-0 in their favor. But man, Churms right at the end there getting that 2K. That was the reason why Dogs of War was able to be successful in that round. So Churms, coming into this one, like I said, had not played a single match of Advanced until this point. And Churms has, in Season 30, had 16 matches played, 323 frags, plus 3 kill to death differential, 20.8 frags per match, and an ADR of 79.9. So not too shabby. And it seems like he's not too rusty in his first round of action in Season 31. Cullen coming out here. Sergeant Hash gets the opening frag with the AK, so Collateral forcing up here and getting the bomb plant, but Dane and Cullen get 2. Cullen looking for another one here over on B after this plant. Dutchbag gets the AK sprayed on Churms, but Cullen and Dane come out with 2, leaving only Delta 9 standing with a scout. That is not a good engagement for him. Dane gets a great nade thrown onto him, and Delta 9 goes down. Nicely done for Dogs of War. They get some free AKs off the ground as well. Collateral, with that bomb plant, will have an additional $800 in the account to add on to their 2,400 loss bonus, so they should be able to buy up again if they want to. That said, it'll probably be an SMG AK by this time, so a half buy is probably the better bet. So Collateral have been rotating in Dutchbag, Hendy, Witcher, Sergeant Hash, and Delta 9 all season long. Have not had the same roster and many matches. A few of them they have. I think the last 3 they have. But now they have Jax, Delta 9, Hendy, Sergeant Hash, and Dutchbag in this one. The man out is Witcher, and it seems like Witcher has become the 6th man or the backup for the squad after playing 7 matches this season. The only one who's played every single match is Jax. 11 coming into this one. Dutchbag going to get the opening frag here for Collateral. So Collateral, regardless of the fact that they're on the saving round, on the save round, and in the previous round had forced up some guns, we're still getting those opening frags. Just that Dogs of War have been really good on the trades and coming back from the man or 2-man disadvantage. Churms staring down in towards T-Con as Hendy and Delta 9 move up. These Deagles could do the damage here. Seen it before many times on train. And Dutchbag looking for a second, and he gets it over on Dane. Great work by Dutchbag over at Ivy as Cullen responds for a 2K on Sergeant Hash and Jack. So nothing doing over from Pop Dog, but Hendy is still going to keep it going with the Deagle. Cullen is down 3v2 and some guns on the ground for Collateral to pick up. Dutchbag has picked up the M4A4. Churms knows he's there, so he's locked down that angle. Lean in the meantime, going to get Hendy, making it a 2v2, but Delta 9 and Dutchbag simultaneously take down Hybrid and Churms, and Collateral pull it off in the Deagle buy-up. They get their first round victory and hurt the economy pretty significantly for Dogs of War, because those previous 2 rounds got them down to, I think, 2 men and 1 man. I'm not sure exactly if that was the case, but still, they can't buy up. Only Cullen had enough money to do so, but he's choosing for the Deagle, the Armor, and the HE. Over on Collateral, they have 3 AKs, an AWP, and an AUG, and a very decent amount of utility. The only one without full utility is Jax, as Rascal with the USPS gets it down on Dutchbag. Gun on the ground. Sergeant Hash sprays down 2, but Dane and Hendy are going to come back and trade 2 more. Back and forth action. Madness on the A site, but Jax ends it. Collateral come out with a second round victory in, I think, what was a 30-second round. Very quickly, that round was wrapped up. 4 rounds of play have expired. 5th round coming up shortly, and it looks like Dogs of War are going to be on another pistol buy-up. In the chat, Collateral Tyler saying, here we go, that's all we needed. Well, we'll see. Collateral certainly has been dominant, as mentioned, but over the last 7 matches, they've gone to 27 plus, over the last 6 matches, they've gone to 27 plus rounds every single time, and CLG Red pushed them to the very limit. They went into overtime, actually double overtime in that match, and that was a 22-19 victory for Collateral, so almost had their win streak ended there. It's still going. Sergeant Hash gets the opening frag here over on Churms, 5v4. Dogs of War on the half buy. 2 Deagles, a Scout, and a USPS remain. You saw that USPS in the previous round get 1 frag. And every frag counts on your eco rounds. As Cullen's going to drop Sergeant Hash just to help improve the economy situation, or at least make the opponent's economy worse. Jack's going to get that frag over on one of the Dogs of War members. Hendy gets Julian, now makes it a 4v2. Jackson Hendy. 48 HP combined. Delta 9 and Dutchbag still have 100 HP each. Over on Dogs of War, only 188 HP remain amongst them. Cullen coming out with the Scout here at back halls. Bomb getting get planted at the A site in the meantime. 40-second bomb timer has been initiated. Dutchbag firing away from Olaf. Then turns the corner, sprays through the smoke, and I think Cullen's going to back off a little bit here. Rascal has the AK. Really no reason for Dogs of War to throw away this hardware. Cullen could try to upgrade with a nice little Scout headshot. And he does get Dutchbag, but hits his shoulder, not the head, and that means he'll survive. 29 HP for Dutchbag, and Cullen's positioning is exposed. You see Rascal's on the other side here, over at the B site in the brown halls. He's hiding away. And now Cullen takes a shot, misses, and Hendy capitalizes. So the Scout is gone. Rascal will save the AK, though no one is even near him. But Collateral, all of a sudden, on a 3-round win streak, 3-2 in their favor. Hey, Witcher, in the chat, the backup for Collateral, watching the match. But the frag leader on Collateral this season is Jax at 225. Dutchbag, KDD leader at plus 33. And then you have the KDR leader, Dutchbag, as well at 1.21. And the ADR leader is Sergeant Hash, 87.8. 142 on the clock here, round number 6. Jax gets the flashbang thrown into the B site, sprays on through the smoke that was thrown, and I think he connected. Yes, he did connect on Hybrid, getting him down to 81. Still, no frags on the board. Jack's going to continue spraying down 4 members of Collateral, leaning towards the B site. 3 already in the brown halls. Jax, Hash, Delta 9, and Hendy set up here on the ramp. The smokes and flashes will come in shortly. Their body language seems to suggest they're going to commit, and here they go, right on into the B site. Julian gets naded down to 19, and Jax has a beat on him. So does Hash, though, and Hash gets him. Dutchbag, in the meantime, drops Rascal. Delta 9 gets Cullen. It looks like it might be a clean sweep for Collateral here, unless Churms and Dane Joris can do something. Churms gets sprayed down by Dutchbag. 2 for Dutchbag, 1 for Delta 9, and 1 for Hash, leaving only Dane Joris standing, and Dane is going to make it hard for them to frag him. He gets 1 on Dutchbag, still hiding around the corner at camera, but Sergeant Hash ends it. Sergeant Hash and Dutchbag combined for 4 frags in that round, and Collateral keep the win streak going 4-2 in their favor. As a result, though, Dogs of War's economy is not too great. Only Rascal above the 5K mark at 5.5. Loss bonus has hit 3,400 for the next round anyway for Dogs of War. Thank you for the kind words, Dark Traffin. As Delta 9 gets the opening frag here from T-Con over on Cullen. 3 Deagles of P250 remain for Dogs of War. Rascal firing away on, oh no, just barely misses fragging Sergeant Hash. And in the meantime, Delta 9 gets the fragging going once more. Second for him on the round. Churms is down for the count. Hybrid hiding away over in Pop Dog with a P250. Pops around the corner. Pulls out his nice to get a jump going so he can escape the fire that is coming his way. But I doubt he'll be able to survive here unless he gets a nice little peek on Jax. He does, but unfortunately can't connect. Delta 9 in the meantime drops his third on the round. 3K for him on the anti-eco. And Julian is just huddled in a corner and misses the shots. I thought he would get at least one there, but Julian goes down, and Collateral get a 5th round victory, 5-2 in their favor. So on train so far this season, Collateral hasn't played a single match, actually. Neither have they played a single match in Season 30. The last time Collateral, or at the time we don't give a hoot, played a match on this map was in Season 29 in ESEA Main. They won that match 16-10, and in fact they were 3-1 in Season 29. The only thing is that the current squad only has 2 members from that Season 29 roster. That's Dutchbag and Sergeant Hash. Still, though, having those two with good experience on train and main should help them out, and it is so far. 8th round of play. Looks like Collateral's trying to abuse Ivy Halls this time around. They will be up against a pretty much full-on buy by Dogs of War. Double op setup coming in, and Dane Jor is going to get the opening frag on Jax. Dane has been the top frag for, I think, 4 of the last 5 matches. He's really gotten his game going. 2 seasons in MDL for him, Season 29 and Season 30. Rascal going to get the op frag on Sergeant Hash. Cullen gets handy, and then Churms drops the insta 2K on Delta 9 and Dutchbag. Good job by Dogs of War holding the fort, keeping their cool, and coming back to end the 5-round run for Collateral. 3rd round victory for them, 5-3 in favor of Collateral, though. 9th round of play. Dogs of War so far this season, or actually have also not played train this season. Last season, Season 30, they were 1-1 on train, 19-16 victory against Ethereal, and a 16-9 loss against Brazen for a round differential of -7. That said, no one from last season remains on the Dogs of War roster. When was the last one? And he's coaching Thunder Logic now. Made the jump to MDL as a coach, and I wish him all the best. He was the reason why Dogs of War really was able to hold their own and keep things together after losing, I think it was 3 members of their roster in the first 4 matches of the season. Did some great recruiting, picked up Dangerous, Hybrid, and Rascal. And Colin, right as the smoke was fading, I think, gets Sergeant Hash, or at least saw his feet underneath the corner of that smoke. Churms gets Jax, Rascal gets Dutchbag, and all of a sudden, Dogs of War going on a bit of a run here. Delta 9 responds on Churms, so Rascal trades it right on back. 2K for Rascal, and Cullen gets the last one. Handy is down for the count. 5-4 in favor of Collateral. 10th round of play, and Dogs of War trying to tie this one up. On the season so far for Dogs of War, at least for the players that remain on the squad, it's Dangerous in the lead in terms of kill to death differential at +35, has 1.27 KDR and an ADR of 87. Over the last 3 matches, Dane has 72 frags, 1.24 KDR, and an ADR of 90.1. Rascal gets the opening frag again in the round. Hendy trying to come out here into the A site and stir a little bit of madness. Gets Churms, Delta 9 drops Cullen, Sergeant Hash doing it all here at the A site, getting a 2K on Rascal and Dangerous, and there's the site cleared. We had some very quick rounds and quick engagements here at the A site, and this time Collateral's on the winning end of it. Hybrid, the last one standing in a 1v3, and I think if he knew the HP of the Collateral members, he'd try and hustle around to get a rifle in hand, since that's the better bet versus the op. Another op on the ground in front of Hybrid. Bomb taken away. Has the defuse kit and all the utility he could need. Just needs to get the frags. There's one no-scope on Sergeant Hash. Turning the corner. Heard Hendy jump around. Tries to go for the defusal, but gets fragged immediately the minute he turns the corner. Delta 9 with the headshot over on Hybrid. And Delta 9 another multi-kill round 2 for him that time. And has 9 on the match so far. Frag leader is Sergeant Hash with 11. For Collateral, over on Dogs of War, it's Cullen with 9. Now, over the last 3, Delta 9 has the best average enemy flash time at 69.6 seconds on average in the last 3 matches. Flashbang's going to be thrown here by Collateral. Another quick execute onto A. Dutchbag gets one. Dangerous trades it back, but there's Sergeant Hash doing the damage once more. Dangerous and Rascal double op setup, getting 2 frags simultaneously. Jackson, Sergeant Hash go down. Hendy flies around the corner. Fast and furious action here. Smoke thrown into Z. Delta 9 and Hendy up against Rascal and Julian. Op for Delta 9 and op for Rascal. And looks like they're going at it. Julian's going to get the frag on Delta 9, leaving only Hendy standing. Hendy with the AK sprays down Julian, now in a 1v1 op versus AK. Hendy throwing a couple of flashbangs for Z. That will blind Rascal maybe a little bit, but he's free and clear of them now. Sees where Hendy is. Hendy's trying to run away and get away from the op crosshairs. Holding the angle from Green Chain. Sees Rascal come after him, and Hendy can't get it done. Rascal going to get a headshot on him, but he doesn't have a defuse kit, so he can't get the defusal. What an insane round. Dogs of War will lose it, but at the very least, they fragged all of the Collateral members. 7-4 in favor of Collateral. But man, have we seen some very fast Counter-Strike to open things up here. When did we start the match? I think it was around 9:15. We're only 14 minutes in and already 11 rounds played. 12th round of action. Dogs of War looking to strike back and get their win streak going again. Was stopped at 3 there. Or was it 2? Actually, yeah, stopped at 2. Cullen staring down towards Pop Dog, and all 4 members of Collateral now moving into the B site. Dane gets the opening frag with the op over on Hendy. Julian trying to spray down one that's Dutchbag, but Delta 9 flies onto the B site with his op and gets Hybrid. Cullen trades one back, 3v4 in favor of Dogs of War. Jack's going to make it a 3v3. There goes the bomb plant, but Dane jumping on to the spool. Gets Dutchbag. Rascal drops Jax, leaving only Delta 9 to fend for himself in a 1v3 with that op in hand. Delta 9 gets sprayed down by Rascal. 2K for Rascal. And Collateral will fall in the round. Great job by Dogs of War to get that instant response after losing the previous round, and what was pretty heartbreaking for them. After getting all the frags, just didn't have the defuse kit to wrap up the round. But it will be 7-5, and the lead is cut to 2 for Collateral. Collateral, though, still have enough money to buy up here. Might not be the case in the next round if they lose this one. But only 3 rounds remaining to be played here in the first half of action. It is a best of 1, Sly, which means that this is the only map they're going to play. We will go to a best of 3 once the playoffs start, but that's not for a couple of weeks. Rascal waiting here at Ivy Halls with the op in hand. Dutchbag and Delta 9 will be creeping up shortly. Rascal should be able to get the opening frag if they dry peek. Do have a bit of utility to work with. Oh man, the timing just not in Rascal's favor as Dutchbag crossed away without even using a flash. Could have had an easy frag to open things up. Here comes the smoke though, and the molly, but Rascal before the molly blooms comes around the corner and gets Delta 9. Then Cullen drops Sergeant Hash. 5v3 in the early goings of round number 13. Jax responds for 1 on Cullen, but Rascal maintains the 2-man advantage. Then Churms makes it a 3-man advantage with the frag on Hendy, leaving only Jax standing with 3 HP, an AK, and a prayer. I think he just wants to try and survive. Julian has a beat on him, though, trying to get him through the wall, maybe? No, doesn't even try for it. I'm not sure if the wall bang's possible, but what a nade thrown by Hybrid. Jax is down, touchdown for Dogs of War, and a 6th round victory to boot. 7-6 in favor of Collateral. 14th round of play. Nice hold by Dogs of War, and as a result, like I mentioned, the economy not going to be too good for Collateral. They're going to have to save up for round number 15, and it could be tied up 7-7 Unless we see an insane Glock strat come out here. You do have Dutchbag with the deagle, but he's standing in a molly down to 60 HP. Good smoke thrown by Julian. They might not know he's waiting here, and he comes around the corner, gets Delta 9, should have a clean on flank towards Jax. In the meantime, though, the rest of the team's cleaning up at A. Julian gets Jax, and Churms drops Hendy, so not really much of a problem there for Dogs of War in round number 14. 7-7, all tied up. Round number 15, it's going to be as close as it gets. The question is, can Collateral retake the lead and make it 8-7, or will Dogs of War strike back and get into the lead themselves at an 8-7 scoreline? Here we go. Double op setup for Dogs of War. AK and 2 AUGs round out the buy over on Collateral. It's 5 AKs. Rascal and Churms waiting here. Churms going up on top of Green Train, and Rascal at Ivy. Good job by Sergeant Hash entering onto A. Sprays down Cullen behind the smoke, then gets the headshot on Churms, looking for the third perhaps on Julian, who's trying to come around support from Z Connector. Jax comes around towards the A site, and Hash will get the 4K on the round. Julian and Dane go down. Sergeant Hash is a beast, and Collateral do indeed retake the lead 8-7 in their favor heading into the second half of action. That was one of the more action-packed halves of Train I've casted over perhaps the last year. Wow. But Collateral in the lead and looking to get their win streak to 10 games on the season. Now, for those of you who watched a lot of Train can be very CT-sided. So getting 7 rounds, on T side for Collateral is actually quite impressive. If they can have a dominant CT side, this one could be over very quickly, unless Dogs of War come up with some very impressive T-sided strats. In any case, guys, I hope you're enjoying the match cast. If you are, I would appreciate a follow at JRTTV with 2 E's at the end on my Twitter. That's in the top That's in the top left-hand corner of your screen. And of course, on my Twitch, that's just JRTTV without the 2 E's at the end. Any support is greatly appreciated. Here we go. Second half of action. Dogs of War up against Collateral. Dogs of War looking for their 7th victory on the season. And at this point, they're trying to fend off the possibility of missing the playoffs. Over on Collateral, well, like I said earlier, they could clinch it with a win here, going to 10-2. Dogs of War moving their way into Brown Hall's 4 members. Make that 3 members already in there. 1 headed to the ramp, 3 at upper B, 1 at lower B, and here they come. Should be able to get the plant pretty easily. Collateral is moving in towards B, but they're going for the full-on retake. Surrendering the B site to Dogs of War. Julian firing away with the Glock. Now Dutchbag sees Churms' tracer fire coming through, and Dutchbag gets the 2K, looking for the third on Dane. Delta 9 will be able to get that one, though, and Hendy drops Rascal, leaving only Cullen standing in a 5v1. What an excellent retake there by Collateral. Oh, man. Cullen's going to get closed in on. He will go down after getting the frag on Jack. Sergeant Hash gets the last word in the round. 9-7 for Collateral, and they're on a 2-round win streak. Looking to get some early success here at the beginning of their CT side. In the chat, as he drains, saying, "Let's go!" Or acid rain. Did I? I'm guessing it's acid rain because acid rain doesn't sound as cool. Jax coming in here with the molly thrown towards Pop Dog, and then stares at T-Con. Just flicking back and forth, trying to stop the Deagles and the P250s from doing damage here for Dogs of War. Cullen around the corner, taps away at E-Box, but cannot connect with Jax for more than 1 shot. Cullen does connect through the smoke on Jax. Jax down to 55. He might want to back off a little bit, but Delta 9 supporting him from Z, gets Churms, and gives him more space to maneuver with at Pop Dog. Dutchbag throws the smoke over at B ramp. Then an HE flies up the ramp. Did that do 50? Almost 50 damage to Rascal. Great usage of utility here by Dutchbag. And he jumps on top of Blue Train. 1 minute left on the clock, and there's Jax closing in on Pop Dog. Drops Cullen, and we have a 5v4 and a disconnect. Rascal and Dane Joris are the last 2 standing here. Dane goes down to 14, now to 0. Delta 9 doing the work with the scout on the anti-eco, and Jax gets the last one on Rascal with the UMP-45. So we do have a disconnect. I'm expecting a match pause to come in right about now. There it is. So it looks like we lost Hybrid. Maybe some internet issues on his end. I'm not sure if Dogs of War have another member that they can sub in here on their roster. And the rosters have been locked, so no one else can be added for this match. Checking out their roster, they have Churms, Cullen, Dane, Hybrid, and Rascal. So there's no one who can step in here. They will have to play a 5v4 if Hybrid's unable to come back. That's the great thing about Collateral. When you have 6 players who are so strong and can come in and sub in at a moment's notice, it helps having that depth, for sure. And for example, if someone disconnected here for Collateral, Witcher would just jump in and get going in the match. But it gives us a chance to talk about the last 3 matches for both squads. So like I said, Collateral is on a 9-game win streak, and over the last 3, they defeated Front GG 16-13 on Overpass. Hendy was the top frag there at 25-18, and also the top ADR at 106.3. The next match was against Brazen, another team that's pretty strong. They won that one 16-12 on Overpass. Sergeant Hash, the top frag that time at 22-20, and Hendy, top ADR 95.1. Then the win, the last match against E-Girl Hunters, 16-12 on Vertigo of all maps. That map has not been played much, and I can assure you it's at the bottom of the list of maps played this season in ESEA Advanced. But Collateral did play it, were victorious on it, and Sergeant Hash again at the top with a scoreline of 28-22. Jax was tied in terms of frags, 28-18 for him, and Jax also had the top ADR at 107.3. Now, over the last 3 matches, ADR lead goes to Hendy at 91.9, but Sergeant Hash is right behind at 91.7. That's pretty much the story for Sergeant Hash, not only over the season, like I mentioned, at 87.8 ADR, but over his career. 90 ADR, which is very difficult to maintain. You have to play at that ADR pretty much every single season in ESEA to keep it there, and that's what Sergeant Hash has done. So impressive job for him, and you certainly need those players that can get a lot of damage on each round, but you also need the players who can throw the flash as well, and that's what Delta 9's been doing. Need those flash specialists, no doubt about it. Now, the flash specialist for Dogs of War was Wen. He's gone now, so I'm not sure who's going to take his place. In the last 3 matches for Dogs of War, they lost to Brazen, who are 7-4 in the season, 19-15 on Mirage. Dane Joris was the top frag there at 29-23, and he also had a 92.5 ADR. Now in that match, Wen had 118.8 seconds of flash time, which is very, very good. But and also in the last match against Neon Black, where they lost 16-13 on Dust 2, he had 71.6 seconds of flash time. So yeah, I wonder if we can see it. I don't think we can see it in the stats here. Let's see. Advanced stats. No, we only get enemies flashed. And utility damage, unfortunately. But yeah, maybe one day we'll get average flash time. Hey, Insane Neck. How's it going, man? Good to see you. But yeah, back to the last 3 for Dogs of War. Now, in the loss to Gamer Gunk, which was 2 matches ago, 16-6 on Mirage, Dane Joris, regardless of losing 16-6, has still had a 21-18 scoreline, which is pretty darn impressive since you only won 6 rounds. He also had an ADR of 105.6. I mean, like I said, Dane Joris has been on fire over the last 4. We'll see if he can keep it up here. He is at 12-10, leading the squad, and we're still waiting for Hybrid to come back, though. Checking out the chat here. I just saw Halo, says Dark Traffin. Halo what? Big Churms, says Kuya, the fan of Churms in the chat, I'm assuming. Yeah, Churms played 2 seasons on Massed Esports, now known as GGPR, Season 29 and Season 30. Last season, 323 frags, like I mentioned. Cullen had 2 seasons in Advanced as well. and was playing for an open team this season for 5 matches, but I didn't really look at those stats because I'm pretty sure they're not that relevant when you get to a level such as Advanced or even MDL. But in Season 30 in Advanced, he had 294 frags plus 27 kill to death differential, 18 frags per match, and a KDR of 1.10, along with an ADR of 80.8. And we saw him do quite a number on Dogs of War in the opening pistol round on CT side with those 2 frags, one towards T-Con and one towards Pop Dog. Ah, Halo's in the Discord. Excellent. Scarly Wars, thank you for the kind words, man. Like from a commercial. All right. I'll take it. Still waiting for Hybrid to reconnect. If anyone has an update in the chat, would appreciate that. Maybe Witcher, you can jump in the server and ask them what's going on. You're not hearing a commercial, you're hearing a match cast. I can assure you, Scarly Wars. Oldest player in the server tonight is Hybrid at 26. And the next one is Hendy on Collateral at 24 years of age. And the average age for each squad coming in at 21 for Collateral and 22 for Dogs of War. So very close. And that's about the average age that you'll see for most advanced teams. Although it does go down to probably as low as 18 or 17 for some of the younger squads. And it's not to say they're necessarily worse because they're less experienced. In fact, some of the younger teams are far better in terms of their scoreline and, of course, their record. It doesn't hurt to have that experience on your side. Thank you, Acid Rain, for the kind words, man. So we're still waiting for round number 18 to get underway here. Speaking of waiting, I am actually in the ESEA Next Big Caster competition, and I will be posting on my Twitter what happens there, since I believe, yeah, we just ended doing any casts. All the casts are wrapped up. Now they're doing the judging and determining the top 3 casters from, I think it was a round of 10 casters. Let me count. I was competing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, 10 casters. So hopefully I make that top 3. And if I do, make sure you check out my Twitter again, because the winner will be determined by you, the public. So I appreciate any votes, guys, assuming I make it there, because I haven't found out yet. If you don't win, it's a crime. Thanks, Insane Neck. So we're still waiting for the 5th member of Dogs of War to rejoin, and Collateral appear to be doing a bit of a dance here. Enjoying their time, waiting for the 5th to come in. Dutchbag spinning around in circles. I think he's winning the dance contest if, most movement counts. Jack's a little more suave here. And now they've all stopped moving. Dance contest over. I'm starting to hear Jeopardy music, says Acid Rain. Oh, man. So, still waiting for Hybrid to come back. I'm not sure if Dogs of War are just going to forfeit the match or not. I'm assuming they just play out. Why not? You have nothing to lose. You're down 10-7. You can still make up those 3 rounds and even win it in a 5v4. I've seen it before. Career leaders on Dogs of War in terms of KDR and ADR. It's Cullen at 1.27 for the KDR title, and ADR title goes to Dane Joris at 86.8, who's not too far behind in terms of KDR either, at 1.20 on his career. A fragger through and through. I think Dogs of War are really hoping that the new additions to the team will end their losing streak, but Collateral is no slouch. I think it's been tough for them. I'm not sure if I got a chance to talk about this, but they faced off against Brazen, 7-4 squad, lost that one, then went up against Gamer Gunk. Wow, cannot speak. 9-3 record for them, and Neon Black at 8-2. So every single player, every single team they played against was very strong, and I think that's just kind of a bad draw for them. And as a result, they've lost 3 in a row. It doesn't get any easier against Collateral, of course. Should think about doing ASMR announcer smooth voice. I have thought about the ASMR thing, actually, Scarly Wars. I just haven't gone through with it because I've been absolutely insanely busy with casting and, of course, a full-time job. I haven't even had a moment to think, to be honest. But are we going to play 5v4? I think we are. Timeout has been ended, and no. Okay. Another match pause is being called. So still waiting for Hybrid to reconnect. How long has it been? I think it's been about 10 minutes now that Hybrid has been gone. What do you guys want to talk about in the chat? Anything you want to discuss? E3 is going on right now. Any of the games announced? You guys excited about any of those games? Ubisoft's conference just happened. I think Square Enix's conference is happening right now. Dark Traffin wants some music. So you don't want me to talk, Dark Traffin? You're hurting my feelings. Do you announce for other games? I have done Overwatch in the past. Of course, Counter-Strike 1.6, Counter-Strike Source, America's Army at one point, Call of Duty 2, Team Fortress 2. But my main focus right now has been, of course, Counter-Strike. Oh, you want me to talk and play music? Sure, I can play something in the background. Let me see what I can find. Maybe I'll get some My Hero Academia. There we go. Okay, so thank you, Acid Rain. Cyberpunk hype of the century. Did I miss something though? Scarly War says you should do it differently. Some YouTube videos. Not everyone got smooth voice like yours. Thanks, Scarly Wars. Yeah, YouTube was what I was thinking of. Cyberpunk. Let's get back to that from Insane Neck. Yes, Cyberpunk 2077 is a game I absolutely want to play without a doubt in my mind. I saw that last year at E3. Whoops, sorry guys. Just trying to make sure the music's not too loud. But I saw that last year at E3 when they showed, or was it after E3? Yeah, it was a month or two after E3. They released a full-on gameplay demo that they showed behind closed doors. And man, oh man, I watched it, I think 4 times all the way through. I really want to play this game. I love Cyberpunk. I love Deus Ex, Human Revolution, and Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I didn't really play the original, but Human Revolution was amazing. Mankind Divided was so-so compared to Human Revolution, but still really strong games in their own right. And then they kind of haven't released one since. But still, Cyberpunk could take their place, and that's why I'm so excited for it. On top of being an open world with a very seemingly deep storyline, very promising game, no doubt about that. Dark Traffin says, I... Gets to the music. ASMR heart. Yeah, give us ASMR. I don't know what I would do, what I would say for that. But I guess I can. So we're waiting for Hybrid to come back here. Dane, Joris, Cullen, Charms, and Rascal still in the server for Dogs of War and Collateral. Rockin', Jax, Delta 9, Handy, Sergeant Hash, and Dutchbag for, I think, the 4th consecutive match. Any other games? I remember yesterday I saw, what was it? Oh man, I can't remember. Yeah, the Bethesda conference, which overall kind of wasn't that good, but at the same time, they had a couple of interesting titles. Deathloop looked really cool, if you guys want to check that one out. And I forgot the other one, Tokyo something. Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it was some sort of weird horror game, maybe the guys who made Evil Within. And looks like Dogs of War have bought up their AKs, maybe getting ready to go in the round. Dane's still not back, though. I've never played Counter-Strike. What is it you're waiting on, Scarly? Well, it's a 5v4 right now. There's a player missing from the server, so you usually wouldn't want to play 5v5. It's like, for example, in hockey, when you have a man advantage, it's a 5v4. It's the same thing in Counter-Strike. You're down a man, it gives the other team a significant advantage. But yeah, that's what we're waiting on. kind of excited for Watch Dogs 3 as well at Ubisoft's conference, guys. If you haven't seen that, it's based in London. And I love British accents, so for me, that's like an instant buy. What's the time limit on this as Acid Rain? Not really. There isn't really a time limit. I mean, I think 15 minutes. Usually the other team can say, look, we're going to force you to forfeit or play the 5v4, but it really is up to the team. If Collateral wants to keep things going and say, look, we'll wait until your player comes back, they will kind of let it go on until whenever, maybe 2 in the morning. Hopefully not, but I'll stay here talking until then if I have to. 5 days, says Bantito. All right. Thank you, Apex Kizzy, for the follow on Twitch. Appreciate that, man. Along with on Twitter, thank you, Apex Kizzy, as well. Also, Acid Rain, hey, man, thanks for the follow. And Dark Traw, by the way, thank you for the follow. I'm here until the match is over, says Collateral Tyler. Tyler, the owner of Collateral. Up here in the chat. Oh, thanks, Acid Rain. Appreciate that. Hey, Acid Rain's the co-owner and owner in the chat here for Collateral. As we wait for Dogs of War to get started, I think we're going to go into a 5v4. Indeed, that is the case. So, music off, match on, 5v4. Dogs of War will be at a man disadvantage for the remainder of the match on a map that is heavily CT-sided. This will not be easy. Dane coming out here. Hash charges in. Dane gets a double. Jax responds for 2, though. Evens out at a 3. I was going to say a 3v3, but it's a 5v4, so it's down to a 3v2. Make it a 2v2 since Cullen responds on Jax. Good job by Dogs of War in the round. At a disadvantage, but making it work. Dutchbag throws that smoke over on the B ramp. Dutchbag's anchoring down on B, and Hendy's playing the back halls at A. .103 on the clock, and Dogs of War stacked up right next to T-spawn here. Locked next to Showers, now at the T stairs, and pretty much resetting themselves to go into the A site. Rascal and Cullen. Now in T-Con, no one is here to really see them come out of T-Con. I'm assuming Hendy will spot them out shortly, but yeah, timing not in his favor. He goes around to check out T-Con, and they've already snuck on through. Dogs of War now on the A site. Dutchbag could be feeling it with that molly thrown. Dutchbag's going to rotate around to A, and Hendy will take a more aggressive hold over at Ivy Hall. Rascal gets Hendy with the headshot from the AK, and Dutchbag the last one standing. 1v2. Rascal and Cullen. Looking to spot a Dutchbag. Dutchbag gives away his position by throwing that molly, so Cullen's locked on. Good crosshair placement, but still can't get the frag. Dutchbag drops him. 1v1, and Dutchbag, does he have a smoke? No, but throws the HE in towards E-box. Rascal hiding behind blue box. Collateral is going to hold this. Dutchbag should be able to get it. Rascal comes around the corner, and Rascal just barely gets the frag at the end of the round. 2K for him. Oh my goodness, down to milliseconds on the defusal, but Dogs of War gotta give them credit. Only 4 men up in the round win it to get their 8th. Now a 10-8 lead for Collateral. The biggest shame, though, for Dogs of War is, of course, their money is not too strong, so they won't have full utility. 8 flashbangs, or 6 flashbangs, 2 mollies, and a smoke, and that smoke's already been used, so no smokes left. They're going to go for the quick hit more than likely and dry peek. This Dane makes it a 4v4 with the frag over on Jax. Rascal looking to charge through this smoke. Sergeant Hash and Hendy waiting on the other side of it. Rascal gets on through. Did they hear him or not? Delta 9 gets the frag. No, they didn't. Rascal gets Delta 9, but Sergeant Hash trades it back. 3v2. Make it a 2v2. Churm's doing work here, and Churms gets the frag on Dutchbag. Sergeant Hash and Dutchbag go down to Churms, and Dogs of War in the 5v4 again, making it work. 2 in a row for them. 10-9 now. Interesting turn of events. Usually in these 5v4s, the opposing team, or the team with the 5 players, tends to run away with it. But Dogs of War are not saying quit in any way, shape, or form. Dangerous and Rascal going to be peeking aggressively here in towards T-Con again. And Collateral's on the full-on save with the USPS. So for all intents and purposes, even down a man, Dogs of War should be able to pull this one off. Rascal gets the frag over on Sergeant Hash. Dane peeking around, looking for anyone else to frag. Handy's coming around the corner from camera shortly. Rascal, in the meantime, has charged into the site, gets one, then two, and a third on Jax. Handy drops Rascal. Will be able to pick up a gun, but actually doesn't even get to it. Cullen headshots him, and Dogs of War have tied this one up. 3-round victories in a row with only 4 members in the server. We'll see. Imagine if Hybrid comes back at this point. That would be pretty big for Dogs of War to not only hold off Collateral, but keep them winless here in the 5v4. Collateral. 2 AUGs, 2 M4s, and the op. Don't have full utility, and Delta 9 misses the shot and hits his teammate Sergeant Hash in the leg. So Hash is down to 64 HP, and Dogs of War are charging on forward. Dangerous trying to get on top of the train. Jax is tapping away, connects on 2 players to get Cullen down to 78 and Dane down to 79, and there goes that Molly flying towards the back of Green Train. I think Cullen was the one who threw that one. Cullen gets the opening frag over on Sergeant Hash. 4v4. Handy. Flashbang thrown here. Cullen is blinded. Will have to back off momentarily. Rascal keeping an eye over on Pop Dog. Collateral. Handy goes down to 48, then gets the frag on Cherms, but down to 22 in the engagement. 4v3. Man advantage once more. Dutch Bag. With Delta 9 stacked up on the bomb train. Delta 9 waiting for someone to come around the corner of Green Train. And Jax will go down to Dane. Nice op shot. Dutch Bag with a critical trade, though, to make it a 3v2. Still winnable here for Dogs of War. Down to 102 HP combined, and Handy makes it a 3v1. Cullen spotted out, but still gets the frag on Delta 9. Started firing before Delta 9 could lock on, and I think the aim punch was the reason why he couldn't get Cullen. Dutch Bag and Handy, the last 2 standing. 122 HP versus 36. Cullen making his way slowly but surely around E-Box. 23 seconds left. Time taken away. Gets the headshot on Dutch Bag. Now it's down to Handy, and Cullen gets the quad. Dogs of War take the lead 11-10. Down in a 5v4, they still have not surrendered a round. That was a 3v1, and an incredible job by Cullen to pull it off. So the new addition to the squad is making it work here. 18 frags on the match. Rascal with 18 as well. Both of them at the top of the server. Sergeant Hash and the Collateral is tied with them as well at 18 and 16. Dogs of War really want this losing streak to end. And they're powering through here on train on their T side. Cullen gets domed down to 9 HP though. And Dogs of War looking to get it going again here on the anti-eco. Rascal drops Dutch Bag. Cherms gets Delta 9, but good CZ frag from Sergeant Hash. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough though. Dangerous misses 2 easy op shots though on Sergeant Hash, giving a chance to frag Cullen. And now a 1v2 as a result. Handy, the last one standing with a 5-7. He's slowly sneaking his way up in towards T-Con. Did Rascal see him? I don't think so. Otherwise, he would have been locked on towards T-Con. Rascal now in T-Hell. Moving around. Handy spots him out, and Handy gets the frag there. Should be able to pick up an AK as well. 73 HP versus 100. 1v1. Dogs of War Dangerous has the bomb in his back and will be planting it at the B site. An op in hand and probably wants to get a rifle at this point. Handy's going to go for that AK. And will he just go for the save, or is he going to go for the win? In a 1v1 in this situation, no reason not to. Has pretty much everything he needs. The body armor, the smoke, the molly, and an AK. Dane locked on. Oh, turns away at the wrong time! And goes down to 50 HP as a result. Handy sneaks on through. Throws a smoke. Flashbang over the wall by Dane. It's a good one. Molly thrown onto the site, and Dane almost burns alive in the Molly. Handy coming around the corner. Handy gets the frag. Will he have time to defuse? No! Collateral lose the round. Dogs of War survive and somehow do it again. A 3K for Rascal that time. And they're up 12-10. 5 in a row. Now, Collateral did manage to save that op in the previous round, which will help thereby significantly. 3 AUGs, an M4, and an op. Over on Dogs of War, it's 4 AKs and almost full utility across the board. Only Rascal was short a little bit of cash, so he couldn't get that second flashbang. But 7 flashes, 4 smokes, and 4 mollies. More than enough to get an execute going here on either site. Sergeant Hash going for an aggressive position over at Pop Dog, but Hendy's burning alive in a molly down to 44. That molly thrown deep again by Dogs of War over at Green Train. So Hendy peeking back and forth, looking to get an angle on T-Con. Collateral have to find a way to get a win here on their CT side in this 5v4. I have a feeling that once they get that first one, things could snowball out of control. But if they never get that first round victory, then Dogs of War could come out with the victory here. There we go, though. Sergeant Hash gets the headshot on Cullen, firing on through up ladder room. And it's a 5v3. It's first to 16, Scarlet Wars. Cherms coming around, and he goes down to Dutch Bag. Here we go, 5v2. If you don't get that first frag in a 5v4, that's when things start to fall apart. And Dane through the wall goes down to 17. Hash gets Rascal, leaving only Dane standing, and Hash and Dutch Bag combined to get that last frag on Dane. There we go. Collateral get an 11th round victory. And like I said, once that first round comes in, things could heavily favor Collateral for the remainder of the match. Looking at the economy, it's not going to help either on Dogs of War's end. And speaking of economy, when you're in a 5v4, you have less room to maneuver in that regard, because you don't have as many players who can support the others. For example, if Hybrid had 5k right now, he'd be able to drop some pistols for his squad and help them save up for the following round, but that's not the case. He's not even here. Dangerous does have 5k, so maybe he'll do that instead, but still, less money to work with. Match going to be paused again, so maybe Dogs of War hoping that Hybrid will reconnect here. I don't know what happened. Maybe his internet died. Maybe he lost power. Who knows? But nope, they just wanted to talk things over, I guess, and match pause has been canceled. The most we can go to in regulation, Scarlet Wars, is 15 to 15 without a winner being determined. So if they're tied up 15 to 15, we go to overtime. Then it's a best of 6 until a team finds 4 wins in any overtime. If it goes 3 to 3 in the overtime, you go to double overtime, etc., 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 until a winner is determined. There really is no limit in terms of OTs. Counter-Strike can go on forever. Sergeant Hash coming around here from Z Connector. 4 members of Collateral on the A site. The B anchor is Dutch Bag. Dangerous and Rascal with the pistols. It's Glocks across the board for Dogs of War. Something I like that they're doing right now is that they're not really rushing out somewhere with these Glocks, just throw the round away. I think you should make the opponents earn every single round. I'm not a fan of teams that just go out and say, you know what, pistol round is done and dusted. It doesn't matter, we're not going to win, and they kind of just go for some quick play and end up dying one after the other. But when you take your time and you hold those close angles with the pistols, you never really know what can happen. And the Glock is very accurate on the run as well, so of course from close range. So we'll see what they can do here. "39 seconds remaining on the clock. Shot fired there by Delta 9. And now Cullen does hear the footsteps of Sergeant Hash, but he's at such a disadvantage with that Glock out. That HE's going to do him in anyway. Yeah, the HE would have fragged him, but Sergeant Hash gets the AK shot on him anyway. 5v3, Cherms coming around from Ivy. Delta 9 has his back turned, so a couple of nice shots from the Glock could get a frag here for Dogs of War, but Hendy gets the frag over on Cherms. Sergeant Hash with a 2k, make it a 3k in the anti-eco, and we're all tied up 12 to 12. Dogs of War could buy up here. Dane, I think he can get 2 AKs, drop one for Rascal, and get one for himself, but another match pause being called here. Is this one going to last longer to wait for Hybrid? I don't know. Scarlet War's falling asleep. Oh no. Stay awake, sir. This one's not over yet. Sergeant Hash, the frag leader for Collateral at 25 and 17, and having top frag for 2 out of 3 matches, this would make it 3 out of 4. Here we go, though, round number 25. Dogs of War are indeed going to force up and get what they can here. 3 AKs, an SG-553, and almost full utility, so I wouldn't even say a force up. That's just a buy up there, thanks to Dangerous' 7K in the round. Here they come, though. Making a lot of noise over at the A site and trying to draw attention to it. They still only have the B anchor to work with here, or to deal with here on the B site, but Churms is going to frag Sergeant Hash, so another good start here for Dogs of War to make it a 4v4. Churms down to 23. Churms firing on through those windows. Rascal and Dangerous. Snapping away, and Rascal's going to get the frag over on Jax. 4v3 Collateral. Delta 9 gets sprayed down, but he flicks around to spot out Dangerous. Makes it a 3v3, and I thought he would get a second one if one of the Dogs of War members would have come out of Pop Dog, but they thought better of it and went back up the ladder, and looks like a B hit is imminent. 55 seconds left. Dutch Bag with the AUG, staring down at the smoke that will bloom shortly at ramp. Churms thinking about walking through it. That will be a mistake without a flashbang. And there's that smoke and the flashbang more than likely to come out. Dutch Bag retreats, and now Dogs of War takes that chance to go onto the site, but Dutch Bag with the 3K drops every single one of them. Churms, Cullen, and Rascal go down 13-12 for Collateral. Scarly War saying your ASMR is very lovely, makes me sleepy. You know, it's a blessing and a curse, because I would, my wife, when she was pregnant, wanted me to read her to sleep. I read her Harry Potter because it's her favorite book. They're very good books. Anyway, long story short, she would fall asleep very quickly when I was reading it, but I wanted her to stay awake and listen to all the voices I was making for the characters and listen to the story. So it made me kind of sad, but it was good because she fell asleep. So yeah, that's that. 1:35 on the clock here. JRT anecdotes for all of you. 2 Deagles, a P250, and a Glock for Dogs of War. Over on Collateral, it's an OP, 3 AUGs, and the M4A4. Handy, waiting over at Ivy here. And Cullen's going to get sprayed down to 84. But yeah, like I said, once you win that first round in the 5v4, it's very hard for the team down a man to come back. I see they're on their second pistol round in 3 rounds. It's a blessing and a curse, and you must accept it. I'll be at a major and people will be falling asleep. That'll be great. No. I'm sure there'll be a lot of exciting plays as Sergeant Hash is going to get Dangerous. Hendy going to get Churms. 5v2. Rascal and Cullen, the last 2 standing, and Cullen gets sprayed down to 84. The bullets are flying away here from the A site to Pop Dog. Cullen gets flashbanged, waits for someone to try and come around the corner for Collateral, but they're not committing. They're being very cautious here, and for good reason. Dogs of War have given them reason to be a little bit afraid of going for these engagements, even on the eco round. Rascal flying back and forth and somehow dodging bullets there a la Neo. Finally gets connected on by Jax and goes down to 44 HP, but he's going to get closed in on from every angle shortly, and Handy's the one who's going to get the frag over on him. 14-12 in favor of Collateral. 26 rounds have expired, and it's going to be a 7th match in a row for Collateral where they've gone 27 plus rounds. 2 more round victories for Collateral to clinch a playoff spot in ESEA Advanced Season 31. Last season falling short in the playoffs in the first round, going up against the eventual ESEA Advanced champion X-Zone, but Danger is going to get the op frag over on Delta 9 to make it a quick 4v4. Now Dane gets a second one, hashes down. Dogs of War not out of this one yet. Man advantage in their favor. Hendy on top of the green train, but Cullen drops Dutch Bag. Now a 4v2, 2-man advantage for Dogs of War, looking to make it 14-13, but they still have to get into one of these sites. 2 members waiting on the A site. Now Dogs of War Cullen is going to be, throws that smoke in towards Connector, and he's trying to split up the remaining 2 Collateral members. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's kind of working here. They've gone away from the A site. Jax and Hendy baited out, and Dogs of War may be thinking about going to A. We'll see where they end up. The bomb is leaning towards B ramp in Churms' hand, and Churms comes around the corner, from B ramp to drop jacks. 4v1. Not a single member of Dogs of War has gone down in the round, leaving it all up to Hendy. Ollie getting it thrown. I think they know exactly where he is. I'm pretty sure Churms saw his rifle around the corner or something like that because he's staring right at spools. Cullen goes up into connector. Ooh, Hendy triggered discipline here. Fires away, maybe a little bit too late. Cullen is going down to 28 and gets fragged here. Churms down to 8 HP. Pretty exposed, but still gets the frag over on Hendy. 2 for Churms, 2 for Dane, and Dogs of War are in this one, largely in part thanks to Dane's opening op frags there. 2 for him. 1 round separates these two squads, and another match pause going to be called. But like I was saying, last season, it was tough, I would say, for Collateral, then known as We Don't Give a Hoot. Losing in the first round, going 11-5 in the regular season, then going 0-1 in the playoffs. But Zone Esports last season was so good. They went all the way through, punched their ticket to MDL as the ESEA Advanced finalists. Or champions, I should say. And I think We Don't Give a Hoot was one of the better teams left out of the MDL relegation tournament. I think if they would have made it in there, more than likely would have been an MDL this season. But sometimes taking a step back and having one more season in advanced isn't necessarily a bad thing. Because it gives you a chance to hone your skills, maybe refine the roster a little bit, and go into MDL all that much more prepared. Utility going to be thrown here by Dogs of War onto the A site. Collateral sticking with the same strat of 4 members on A, and the B anchor Dutch bag peeking back and forth over at the ramp looking for information. As soon as he spots someone out, this smoke will be thrown and perhaps followed up by a flashbang or a molly. Dogs of War using a bit of utility over at Ivy. Hendy goes down to 68, standing in that molly a little bit too long, maybe hoping that Dane would peek around the corner, but he didn't. Dogs of War. There's the flashbang thrown. Sergeant Hash is fully blinded, and that gives Churms a chance to sneak in over at Blue Train. Hash firing away, but Rascal gets the opening frag here for Dogs of War. Man, are Dogs of War making it tough on Collateral here in this second half. Jax gets the headshot over on, Churms gets a headshot over on Jax. 4v3, Delta 9, Hendy, and Dutchbag have to try and get things together here and find a way to win the round. Delta 9 gets one, but Dangerous trades it back. Back and forth action. 2v2, Hendy gets naded down to 16. Hendy spotted out, positioning known over at Ivy. I don't know if they know that Dutchbag is coming in from CT Halls. Dutchbag, a bit of an advantage. Dangerous turns his back, and Dutchbag gets the headshot on him. 2v1. Rascal, the last one standing with the AK. Coming around, hunting down Hendy. Nicely done for Rascal. 1v1, 2k for him on the round. Looking to make it 3, and a round victory. 22 seconds left. Pressure's on. He has to plant the bomb at A. Doesn't have time to go to B. Or maybe he did, but would have been just barely. Dutchbag coming around from Ivy. Rascal looking there now. Rascal tapped down to 37. HE comes in and does not connect. Rascal comes around the corner and gets the 3K. What is happening? Dogs of War 14-14, all tied up. Round number 29 in a 5v4. It was 10-7 when the 5v4 started. Dogs of War have since won 7 rounds versus only 4 for Collateral. Maybe they're just going to think about going 5v4 for the rest of the season after this one. My goodness. Oh boy. So Collateral, one of the strongest teams in Advanced, if not the strongest over the last 9 matches. Tied up here, 14-14. Their win streak at risk. Hybrid was the problem confirmed, says Devine. Hey, Devine, how's it going, man? There's Rascal waiting at T-Con. 1:30 on the clock. Dogs of War taking their time. 3 AUGs, an OP, and an M4A1S for Collateral. Over on Dogs of War, it's 3 AKs and the OP. Train's just one of those maps where you expect it to be CT-sided every time, but even in a 5v4 with the CTs having the man advantage, they're not able to get things done. And it really is down to how well the strats are executed on T side. Anyway, Cherm's going to tap away at Sergeant Hash. Could get the opening frag and does. Man, has he been good over these last few. Delta 9, though, strikes back. Cherms is down. Hendy gets Rascal. 4v2. Cullen and Dane, the last two standing. HE thrown. Cullen goes down to 60. Now 0. Jack sprays him down. Hendy spots out Dane. And Collateral make it 15-14. Here we go. 30th and final round of play here in regulation. Will Dogs of War find a way to scrape by and push it to overtime, or can Collateral clinch it at 16-14 and also secure a spot in the playoffs? Hendy coming out here towards Ivy Hall, joined by Sergeant Hash. And Dogs of War buying up whatever they can. That's 2 AKs, a Deagle, and a CZ. Don't discount, that Deagle or the CZ. Very good at fragging, particularly from close range. Dutch Bag throws the smoke in towards the ramp and could be calling for reinforcements here. And that's indeed the case with Delta 9 joining him at Z. Delta 9 will re-smoke ramp there, maybe a little early, but maybe didn't want to take a chance. Here come all 4 members of Dogs of War in Brown Halls. The first one to engage could be dangerous with the CZ from the upper tunnels. There's a smoke thrown and a flashbang to guide his advance. I think he wants to get onto the site and go for the close range engagements. Indeed, that's the case. Flicks around, but Dutchbag gets the better of him. 5v3. Jack's closing in with Dutchbag. Dutchbag goes down to Rascal. Churns gets free down. So does Cullen, leaving all up to Rascal. He is dead to rights. Jax is going to get him, and Collateral will be victorious here. But man, you got to give Dogs of War huge props. They go down 16-14 in the match, but the first match for this roster looked incredibly good, especially considering they only had 4 members at 10-7 in the match, but pushed it to the full 30 rounds. They go to 6-6 on the season, but still, I think they're going to be a team to watch as this season closes out. They could very well still make the playoffs if they get a 4-game win streak, or at least get to at least get to 9 round victories. I said round victories. I meant match victories. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming out. I hope you enjoyed the cast. If you did, would appreciate a follow at JRTTV with 2 E's at the end on my Twitter. That's in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen. And, of course, at JRTTV without the 2 E's at the end on my Twitch. Thank you, Collateral Tyler and Acid Rain, for the follows on Twitch. Appreciate that. That was fun to watch and hear, says Scarly Wars. I'm glad to hear it. GG's across the board here. Hey, Tucker, how's it going? Tucker, formerly of For Us Esports, if I'm not mistaken. We saw Devine earlier, who just stepped down from Intact for personal reasons, which is always understandable. Have a good night, says Scarly Wars. Thanks for the ASMR. Well, no problem. Glad you enjoyed it, Scarly Wars. Good night. Any last words from the chat before we sign off here? I'll give you guys 10 seconds. Let's see. I'm counting. All right, that's it. All right, see you on Wednesday, says Collateral Tyler. Have a great night, says Acid Rain. And with that, guys, I am JRT signing off for the night. Again, final score 16-14 in favor of Collateral. They go to 10-2 and clinch a playoff spot in ESEA Advanced Season 31. The question is, where will they finish in terms of seeding? As for Dogs of War, they fall to 6-6, and we'll see how they fare as the remainder of the season concludes itself. Guys, I am signing off for the night. Have a great one. Thanks for coming out, and take care of yourselves. Peace.
Come and run again. You want a dose of this right now? It's